Most people treat calm like a destination, something they'll reach once the stress clears. But calm isn't a reward for a quieter life. It's a skill, built one small habit at a time. The good news? You don't need to overhaul your life. You need the right daily practices, applied consistently. Your nervous system is highly trainable. Every day, through repeated behaviors, you're either conditioning it toward chronic activation, the fight or flight state, or toward regulated parasympathetic calm. This isn't metaphor. It's neuroscience. Research in neuroplasticity confirms that habitual behaviors literally reshape neural pathways. The habits you repeat become the default state your brain returns to under pressure. If your defaults are reactive, rushed, and screen-saturated, calm will always feel out of reach. The goal isn't to eliminate stress. It's to shrink your baseline so that stress hits you from a lower starting point. The habits that consistently calm the nervous system. Regulate your wake-up window. How you begin your morning sets your neurological tone for the day. Reaching for your phone within minutes of waking immediately floods the brain with dopamine spikes and incoming demands before your prefrontal cortex, the rational regulating part of your brain, is even fully online. A calmer alternative: give yourself 20-30 minutes of low-stimulation morning time. This could be slow movement, quiet coffee, or simply sitting without an agenda. The specific activity matters less than the absence of reactive input. Practical anchors for a calmer morning. No phone for the first 20 minutes. Drink water before caffeine. Move your body gently. Even a 5-minute stretch counts. Set one clear intention for the day, not a to-do list. Use physiological breathing, not just deep breaths. Just breathe is frustratingly vague advice. But specific breathing techniques have measurable effects on heart rate variability, HRV, a key physiological marker of calm and resilience. The most effective technique with the strongest research backing is box breathing: 4 counts in, hold 4, out 4, hold 4, and the physiological sigh: double inhale through the nose, long exhale through the mouth. Stanford neuroscientist Andrew Huberman's research highlights the physiological sigh as the fastest known way to reduce acute stress in real time. You don't need a 20-minute meditation session. 2 minutes of deliberate breathing, done daily, reconditions your stress response over time. One of the most overlooked drivers of daily anxiety is context switching without decompression. Moving directly from a tense meeting to a personal call, or from a scrolling session to focused work, keeps cortisol elevated even when the stressor is technically over. Transition rituals act as psychological buffers. They signal to the nervous system that one context has ended and another is beginning. Even 60-90 seconds is enough to shift your state. A brief walk, washing your hands, stepping outside, or doing a few slow breaths. These micro-pauses are not procrastination. They're regulation. High performers in high-stakes environments, surgeons, athletes, pilots, use structured transitions deliberately. You can too. Decision fatigue is real, and it escalates anxiety. Research by social psychologist Roy Baumeister showed that willpower and decision-making capacity deplete with use throughout the day. By afternoon, most people are making worse decisions and feeling more reactive. The solution isn't to make fewer decisions. It's to front-load the important ones and automate the trivial. Lay out clothes the night before, plan meals in advance, create repeatable defaults for low-stakes choices. This frees up cognitive bandwidth for what actually matters and reduces the low-level mental noise that accumulates into overwhelm. Nature exposure has a well-documented dose-response relationship with stress reduction. Even brief exposure to natural environments reduces cortisol, lowers blood pressure, and activates the parasympathetic nervous system. This effect holds even in urban green spaces. A concept from Japanese medicine, Shinrin-yoku or forest bathing, has been validated repeatedly in clinical research. You don't need a forest. A park, a garden, or even a tree-lined street delivers measurable physiological benefit when you engage with it without distraction. Aim for at least 10-20 minutes outdoors each day. Leave the podcast. Leave your phone in your pocket. Let your senses do what they evolved to do. Your brain relies on predictability to feel safe. A consistent evening routine doesn't just improve sleep. It begins lowering cortisol in the hours before bed by signaling that the day's demands are complete. The key elements of an effective wind-down aren't complicated. Dim lights. 60-90 minutes before bed. Light suppresses melatonin and maintains alertness. Avoid screens or use blue light filters after 9 p.m. Do something that requires low cognitive effort. Reading fiction, gentle stretching, or a warm shower. Avoid emotionally activating content. News, intense TV, heated conversations. Consistency matters more than perfection here. A predictable wind-down practiced 5 nights out of 7 is far more effective than an elaborate one done occasionally. Modern anxiety isn't always caused by big stressors. More often, it's the relentless low-level stimulation of notifications, background noise, and always available input that keeps the nervous system subtly activated all day. Psychologist Adam Gazzaley's research on distraction and the brain shows that even the presence of a smartphone on a desk reduces available cognitive capacity, even if it's face down and silent. Chronic partial attention is a stress state disguised as normal. Practical countermeasures. Set phone notifications to batch deliver every 90 minutes instead of constantly. Create one 60-minute focus block daily with no digital interruptions. Designate phone-free zones in your home, bedroom, dining table. Schedule social media instead of grazing throughout the day. Move your body, specifically for stress, not just fitness. Exercise is one of the most robustly supported interventions for anxiety and emotional regulation in the psychological literature. But the mechanism matters. Exercise metabolizes stress hormones, adrenaline and cortisol, that would otherwise remain in the bloodstream, sustaining a state of physiological readiness long after the stressor has passed. You don't need a gym session. A brisk 20-minute walk has been shown to reduce state anxiety for up to several hours. The key is consistency and moderate intensity, not intensity for its own sake. Movement also triggers BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor, sometimes called fertilizer for the brain, which supports emotional resilience and cognitive flexibility over time. What doesn't work, despite popular belief? Forcing positivity, suppressing or overriding negative emotions with forced positivity increases their intensity. Research by James Gross on emotional suppression shows it amplifies physiological stress responses rather than reducing them. Calm isn't the same as cheerful. Acceptance-based approaches, acknowledging what you feel without amplifying it, are consistently more effective. Relying on relaxation as recovery, collapsing on the sofa and scrolling for hours isn't genuine recovery, it's passive stimulation. True recovery for the nervous system involves low stimulation, low-demand activities that don't require reactive engagement. There's a meaningful difference. Building these habits, the realistic approach. Trying to implement all of these simultaneously is a reliable way to implement none of them. Habit science is clear. One anchor habit, practiced until automatic, then layered with another. Start with whichever habit addresses your biggest current stressor. If mornings derail you, fix the morning routine first. If evenings feel chaotic, anchor the wind down. Build horizontally, not vertically. A simple starting framework. Pick one morning habit and one evening habit. Attach them to existing anchors after brushing teeth before making coffee. Track compliance for 21 days. Not results, just whether you did it. Add a second layer only after the first feels effortless. Calm isn't a personality type. It's a practice state, built from the bottom up.